Hey everybody, welcome to Easy Tarot Lessons. This is Squirrel and I'm here with Sally. Hi Sally.
Hi, how are you?
And today we are doing the Seven of Swords.
Yay.
You got anything to say about him, Sally?
Oh, do I have things to say about him? You know, this is an interesting character for me because one of the words that always leaps to mind is stealing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not always a bad thing. Yeah, he could be stealing your stuff, but he could be getting a steal, like he's walking into Walmart and walking out with all these wonderful sales. All of those things going on. And it's not just about him. You look in the background and you see those people in the back corner. I always envision that they're supposed to be out there guarding and they aren't. So it's like failed security in that sense. There's a security system that isn't working.
Mm.
And I don't know, maybe you know the answer to this, but I'm looking at this card and the tents that are in the background, they have open flaps, and to me that says an open house. I don't know if there's any other card in this deck that has an open front door, but it doesn't in this particular card. I'm looking at this guy and he's got this furry hat and these furry boots, but it looks like it's kind of a warm climate. So it's like he's not dressed for the weather. He's something that's out of place.
That could be like those boys in the hoodies that go to steal. It's like 112 degrees outside and they got a
Yeah.
hoodie and all the pockets.
Yes, exactly. There's just something about this situation that isn't quite right. And yeah, that's some of the things I think about when I look at this guy. It's also like, he wants to carry all of these things, but he can't quite get them all. So, he doesn't have enough hands for whatever it is he needs them for. It's kind of that feeling as well. And it looks like he's tiptoeing, right? Right?
Oh, as it one of the students in the course said he looked like he was dancing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so that's, some of the things I think of when I look at this guy. What about you?
I, that was a lot of it. Really, the first thing that pops into your head is, ooh, he's stealing because of the way he's looking over his shoulder. But you made me
Hmm.
think, he might be looking over his shoulder trying to figure out how he's going to come back and get those last two swords.
Hmm.
And it looks like, even though he's tiptoeing, he is in a hurry. He could have gotten less swords if he'd held them by the hilt.
Right?
But he's in such a hurry. He's holding them by the blade. Ow. That's
Uh-huh. He's not
not.
very safe. He's running with scissors.
Wait. Oh my god. I love that. Okay, now is my running with scissors card. Oh my god. And that would be a great interpretation too for somebody in a dangerous situation who's not watching what they're doing.
Hmm.
Looking at those guys in the back, it really does look like they're either watching a show or guards are notoriously known for playing dice
Right.
or card games or something. They're definitely not where they're supposed to be.
Right.
And uh, sometimes this interpretation will be from their point of view.
Hmm.
It's not just necessarily the guy that's up front and center. It could be from the guard's point of view or from the residents.
Hmm.
They're just not paying attention. They missed the boat. They got fleeced, but it's because they weren't paying attention.
Right. Right.
As far as the open door, I think I'm not sure. You'll have to help me here. The the ten of coins. I don't know if that's more of like a corridor, but
Hmm.
it seems to have that open door where she can just come in, but it's guarded.
Hmm.
It's open, but there's still that man with the spear standing there saying, "Let me check your credentials first."
Hmm. Hmm.
Whereas these are completely
Yeah, they're just wide open.
wide
Nobody's
open.
standing there. And looking at this, you see those, there's like three tents in the foreground, but if you look way in the back, you see these little brown things that look like they have flags on the top as well. So that's like a separate encampment. So you have, two different encampments. You have these people in the center who are maybe getting together from these two different encampments. So they're, they can be around a fire singing "Kumbaya" or whatever, Yeah, it's whatever is going on there. But then there's this guy that's just separate from them. And, maybe he's not stealing. Maybe he's actually doing the work he's supposed to be doing, and everybody else is off there screwing off.
Right, right. That's a good way of looking at it too. Of course, he's doing it wrong, holding them by the blades, but that just really, I don't know. The Six of Swords and the Seven of Swords always make me go a little bit cross-eyed because the Six of Swords, you got the sword sticking in the boat. Hello. And
Right?
this, I mean, I'm just dumbfounded about why there isn't blood just pouring off of his hands. And
They're plastic swords.
that's it. He's the one making the martinis.
Right,
He's
right. Those are for
really
cocktails.
big. One thing you just said about how the two little tints between his legs, they're brownish. Maybe distance just doesn't show the color, but it could be, and this is just something I just now realized, could be that those guards belong to those brown tents, the utilitarian tents, and all these really fancy uh, almost new age tents, if you look at the colors and the
Hmm.
designs on them, that they're just two separate schools of thought, that the guards back there really are guarding their part of the town and this other town just doesn't care, so they're getting taken advantage of.
I like that. I like the way you say that. Yeah.
It was kind of random, you put it in my head with the brown tents.
And that's how this works. It's just thought leads to thought leads to thought. And that's where you get the depth of meaning, I would think.
Oh yeah, and that's where you get the development of the intuition too, because you allow yourself to follow the thoughts, and you don't dismiss them. It's kind of
Hmm.
like if something really wonky happens, say I'm sitting in the kitchen and my tap water turns on full blast and there's nobody there.
Hmm.
A lot of people will say, oh, that didn't happen, or there's got to be some scientific explanation. Sometimes it is what it is. Weird stuff happens,
Right? Absolutely.
and you got to accept it. Maybe find out what the hell it was.
Uh-huh. Now, if you look at those guys in the background, it looks like there is a white cloud hanging over them, like maybe they're around a fire or something like that.
Oh.
Do you
Oh,
see that?
they might be sending smoke signals out for help.
Right? Right?
Yep.
We have these raiders in our camp. We need help. Come help us.
Ah, raiders, plural, because it might
Hmm.
not just be him. He might be looking over his shoulder at the guy behind him saying, make sure you get
Right?
these two.
Yes, exactly. I can't get them. To me, generally, the stealthiness, the stealing, the theft, like theft of intellectual property, if you wanted to get with the old swords and air and walking away with them. So, stealing thoughts, stealing ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure your intellectual property is locked down.
Or if you're reading about a specific person, you might really want to look into this person's motives and background, see if they're deceiving you or
Hmm.
scheming against you or trying to take what belongs to you.
Sure. Or somebody's snooping in your text. Somebody is, snooping your phone messages or your emails, anything like that.
Nice. So I do think he does seem to have that overall theme of, wow, this guy is not up to any good.
That's usually how it feels to me. Not always, of course. Nothing is
Exactly.
always with these cards,
Yeah, sometimes they come out of left field, and where'd that come from?
right?
Roll with it. See if it, open your mouth and speak. See if it makes sense to the person you're reading for, because often when something hits you like that, it's true, and you might not be able to explain exactly where you got it out of that image at first, but when you go back and look, you'd be like, oh ho, there it is. There
Hmm.
it is.
Yeah, the intuition speaking through you. You can't program this into a computer because there's something else at work. these are just the triggers. So intuition, the divine, however you see it, can speak through you.
Right. Beautifully said. Now, how about reversed?
Good question. Let me flip this so I'm actually looking at it reverse, because sometimes at different spots, something different in the image will actually come through for me when I physically turn them upside down. I never noticed that before, something like that.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Ah, and this way, when I'm looking at it and the way he is, I see him bringing those swords back.
Right.
So returning something that was taken, replacing something that was removed. They're caught. I mean, just plain and simple, you know.
Yeah, those guys from the back are coming up to find him.
Yeah, the tents lose prominence for me when I turn it upside down. I don't see them as much. They don't seem as open. So yeah, things have been locked down.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm seeing him, when he was upright, I was seeing him looking at those two swords like, "Oh, I need to come back for these." And in
Hmm.
this instance, I see him looking away from the people in the background and not paying attention to what they're doing.
Right, right. And he just
Difference.
looks precarious upside down because you have the yellow platform area because it's drawn in that backdrop format that Pam did some of the cards in. So you have the yellow, and he just looks so disembodied and unbalanced and just like he's floating at this point.
Yeah.
But he's floating down. He's falling down
And
is what
then
I'm seeing.
I did not see this upright, but that one sword looks like it's awfully darn close to his jugular vein.
Yeah, yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like this decision could prove to be your end. Interesting. An interesting card. There's a lot going on with this card.
Yeah, we could probably talk about him for hours. I mean, from the get go, right out the gate, he just has so much to say. And it
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't always have to be theft, but that's the most prominent thing, especially out of context when you're not doing a reading and you look at this card and you're like, he's stealing something.
Right, exactly.
We played a game in group once, and oh my God, Gretchen made me laugh so hard. We were doing what did you get arrested for, and just drawing
Uh-huh.
one card, like a 1A or one.
Right, right.
And she said I got arrested for running around my neighborhood and stealing everybody's flamingos out of their
Right,
lawns.
right.
I thought that was so funny.
Yes,
And those long flamingo legs.
right, right. Yeah, absolutely.
So I
Uh,
do have a hard time looking at this card now without seeing flamingos.
Oh gosh, and I'm going to see cocktails. I see olives on those
I
swords.
know.
Oh shoot.
Oh, 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 you just made me think of it. This could be the Dine and Dash.
Oh sure, absolutely.
Oh, what should we do tonight? Get this card, Dine and Dash.
I am not going to dinner with you.
No, I'd do the dishes first. I'd aid of coins it, I promise.
Oh shoot.
He can be any number of things. Just take the time, look at the card, play with it, talk to it. If you can, grab a friend, see what they see. Even if your friend knows nothing about tarot, you will be amazed at some of the things they see in the image because
Hmm.
images are universal.
Hmm.
They spark something in our subconscious that makes our conscious mind go, hey.
Yeah. Yeah, when I have played that game with people that have never ever touched tarot before, I always learn something new about a card.
Yeah, yeah, I love playing with Marty. Now, he's touched some tarot cards recently, but yeah, some of the stuff he sees is like, how come I never saw that? Really,
Hmm.
man? So, play with friends that know tarot if you have them. Play with friends that don't know tarot. You might get somebody interested and get a permanent study buddy, too.
Right.
That is our take on the Seven of Swords. Do you have anything to add, Sally?
No, I think we've said a whole bunch about this guy, and what you said about just keep looking at it and becoming the character is exactly right. Listen to this guy's story. That his story is going to tell you so much about what this card can mean.
So we will convene here. We'll be up next with the Eight of Swords. I bet we'll go on with that one too.
Oh my gosh.
It's like we won't be able to keep up with ourselves.
Looking forward to it. Yay.
If you have any comments or any ways that you see the Seven of Swords that we did not see today, feel free to leave us a message. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, enlighten us. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, share, share. Oh, thank you for being here, and thank you, Sally, for doing this.
Oh, thanks. Great time.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.